Okay, good evening, guys. It's already another Saturday. So we are about to look at a new exercise for the weekly assignments. Last week, since for the past maybe 3 weeks, we've been talking about we talked about a little bit of parameters in the After Effects. We talked about using position to create an animation, and we showed some examples. We talked about using scale to create some animations, and we also showed some examples. Last week, we tried and used both scale and position to create a very awesome animation, which a lot of people got and did. So this week, today we'll definitely be looking at using rotation parameters to create animations for you. So basically, firstly, we start in Illustrator as usual. To save time, I would have to skip the process of how I created this animation, but this is the final, I would have to suppose I create the illustration, but this is the final illustration. For the first animation, this is it. While for the second animation, what we'll be working with is this illustration. This one was actually created with just rectangles and circles. So all you have to do is just look at it and you can create yours. You could also try different color variants so it doesn't stick to the same way. Now, once you're done with your illustration as usual, you place all, if you were to animate them differently, you place them on different layers. As you can see, this one is on layer 1, while the other one is on layer 2. So all you have to do is just save this using Control S. So once you save, you give it a name, rotation practice. Then you save it on your rotation practice. Then you save it on wherever you want to save it. And you move to your After Effects. So basically, last week I covered how to import it into After Effects. What you definitely just need to do is watch our previous video. You will definitely see how to import it. But just for let me go over it one more time. To import it, all you have to do is to import it. All you have to do is basically click Control I. Once you click on Control I, brings in the import. So you go to the exact file, which was I think mine is rotation, which is R. Let's see. Then once you need to make sure is here that is showing footage, you must make sure that it is composition between layer sizes. So that is how you import it. Once you are done, you will definitely be able to import it and use it. So firstly, after importing it, you just, if you need to know any other thing about importing, watch the previous video. So after importing it, this is what we have. Here, the first thing we have here is our coin illustration. So looking at the rotation parameters, I just want to cut the time frame so animation loops faster. So looking at the rotation parameters, we want to see what rotation can do for us in animation. So the shortcut for rotation, all you have to do is when you click on the object, when you press R, it brings out the rotation of, when you press R, it brings out the rotation parameters. So the one thing is this, for you to just look at how rotation works, add a keyframe in your first timeline, then go down the timeline, then when you go down the timeline, just move the rotation parameters. If you say 0 and then 0.0, the first 0 here basically talks about how many tons it is. You understand? So if I just basically just put 1 here, that means it has already rotated 360. It has made a 360 rotation once. Instead of me just basically typing 360 or dragging to 360. Once I click on this first part, put 1, it means it has done a 361. If I put 2, it means it has done 360 twice. Meanwhile, this other 0.0 is if maybe you wanted to do manually, meaning maybe it wants to rotate it maybe 45 degree, 10 degree, 30 degree, one that is not complete 360. This is what you use. So basically, I want to do a full 360. So let's just do, let me just change this to 1. So I would like to play it out. So we definitely just see what it looks like first, what rotation does. So since it's in a single position, what it's going to just do is be rotating. Be like I said, it's rotating the end. You see, it feels a bit fast. But so if I wanted to slow it down, I have to just give him what the give him more space. Now it looks like as if it's a looping circle, or it just feels like as if it's only the letter N inside it was rotating. So let's make create a full animation while adding rotation and position. That way it will definitely show you that it's rotating a lot. So the best way to do this is let's cancel all the keyframes we already have. Then now let's move the animation to in screen. Let's bring it down. Okay. So I wanted to touch the bottom of the screen. That's why I'm doing this. Let me zoom in. So to get the hand tool, I click the shortcuts for H. So it's gonna move down. So I want to the V is also for direct selection tool as well. So I want to bring it down. So now that it's touching the ground, let me fit back to screen. So what we want to do is we want to rotate it while also making it move. So it will definitely be like as if it's a coin that rolled from the left to the right. So the first thing, let's work with our rotation. Like you said, you add the keyframe first. Then to do when you go down the timeline, let's see, then you add another keyframe. Go down the timeline, you add another keyframe. Let's just say once it has only put 360. Let me add this here. So sticking limits one. Okay. Let's easy ease the animation, then play it to see how fast it is. Shouldn't be as fast as the previous one that was shown. So that's why we want to check it out now. So using space bar to play. Okay, so it's gonna play now. So it still feels a little bit fast. So what you're going to do is just create more space in between the timelines, between the keyframes, sorry. So I'm trying to increase the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's increase the keyframe of this. Oh, sorry, I clicked on both, so both got dragged. Control this one do, and just clicking on one frame. Um, so if we check it out now, um, let's move this to maybe the yes. Then let's split it out. So now basically what we want to do is to fully show it like as if it's moving from left to right. You add a position keyframe as well. Most rotation in one is rotating in one position is not looking like a lot of work is being done, but you will now add keyframes for position. So press P. You add a keyframe, you move it to outside of the screen for adding a keyframe. So look at it be rolled from the left to the right. So this is me moving it to the left. Okay, it's out of the screen. So I now add a keyframe. Then now on the last, if you want to show all keyframes that has been placed on any layer, all you have to click is U. When you click on layer, place U, so to show you both keyframes. So I want to see both. So on the last keyframe as well, I will move it to the outmost right, so outside of the screen, the right side of the screen. So that's what I'm doing. So with this, I easy ease both keyframes. F9, and then I play the animation to see the results. So as you can see, it still feels a bit fast. So what you can do is basically create more time in between the keyframes. Let's go a little bit further. So just to make, because it feels too fast, you cannot see it rolling off. So if we were to move this, now it should be doable, should be slow enough. As you can see it now. So this is basically it rolling like a coin rolling from the left to right. This is basically using both rotation and position. Now this animation works because the rotation is because the anchor point it's at the center. As you can see, this anchor point is at the center of your illustration. Now what it means is the rotation is being done, everything is rotating with focus from the center, rotating from the center. Now we should look at if the anchor point wasn't at the center, if it was in another location of the body, you understand, it's to definitely do a different type of rotation. So looking towards that, we're going to be using the second illustration that was already created. So this particular one as well, if you click on it, you can see that its anchor point is not at the center, but it's almost at the center. So what you're going to do is you're going to use the move anchor point tool, then move it. I want us to try and not put it in the center. Let's move it up a bit to where the head is. This is basically a character, a simple animation character that was designed using rectangles and circle. So now what you want to do is use rotation in a different way. So you click on R to bring out rotation parameters. Um, you add the first keyframe at the first center of it. So add a keyframe. Now we add the second keyframe for it to do full 360. But this time, if I want to do full 360, I will not just be writing one here because I want you to see the other way to go about it. So I'll drag the parameters of this so that you can see the numbers are changing. 30, 80, 100, 2 something, then we're going to 360. So this 320 something, then I've passed 360. This is why it's always good to just use that one because it's be fully direct. So now let me easy ease the keyframe. Now, if you notice the difference between this and the previous animation was rotating from the center. That is why it felt like as if it was rotating at one point. While this will be definitely different. So once it starts playing, so as you can see, it's rotating from the head and not the center. If it was rotating from the center, it would not, his neck and some of his other body will not go out of the screen. But because it's rotating from the head side of things, so that's why it's rotating like this. Now, to make it a little bit more interesting, we're going to be adding another set of parameters. Let's try and join the rotation with scale as well. So it won't just be a simple rotation. So if we adding scale parameters, I'm going to try and make it go big and go small. So first keyframe, you add a keyframe, then also press you to show you both keyframes. So last keyframe as well. Now, one of the important things I noticed from our previous slide is someone they made when they want to add another keyframe to a keyframe to another point in timeline, and they didn't change parameters. I needed this. You don't need to click the stopwatch again. If you click the stopwatch again, it automatically cancels all the keyframes you've done. If you want to add an extra keyframe and you're looking and you don't know how to do it, you will see that is this diamond that is here that is not clicked on, that is in fill in stroke format, all you need to do is click on it to automatically add a new keyframe. So every time you want to add a new keyframe, you can just click on it and it will be able to use it to add a new keyframe. So now, we added a keyframe to the beginning and the end. That's for when it's small. So when we want to make it big, let's try and find the center. Then now let's increase parameters of the character. Let's go once much. Let's see, let's go maybe 170. When we look at what has happened, what makes it different from what we did previously. So I'm easing the animation still. Now I'm going to play it. It's loading. See, as you can see, this is how it's rotating now. I feel it's a bit slow. So let's try and fasten it up by reducing the space between the keyframes. If you want to reduce it, let's see. I'm trying to reduce the timeline first. It's loading. Reduce timeline. Then now reduce time it takes for it to do its full motion. Let's drag this simplicity here. Then this one will also place it somewhere at the center. Now let's repeat. It's playing. So as you can see, this is a different set of ways to use the rotation parameters. It's your illustration or whatever design you create can rotate based on where the anchor point is. The first one was, let me show you. This first one is based on rotating from the center, which is a coin that rotates from one screen to the other. As you can see, this is it. While the next one is a character that was both rotating and scaling up and down. So let me play that one as well. It's loading. Okay. As you can see, this looks a bit better as compared to when it was extremely slow. Now, when it comes to rotation, what we've been talking about are 2D rotations. You understand? What we've been talking about since morning are rotations that come in 2D. Now there is a different kind of rotation. This one is called 3D rotation. It's basically what some of the designers and anybody use when they want to create something flipping. You understand? When they want to make an object flip. Flipping is also a part of rotation. So that one is called 3D rotation. So if I'm going to be looking at it, let's duplicate this coin that we already have. Okay, so let's duplicate this. Let's hide the old coin. Then let's remove all its current keyframes because we need it to be neutral. Stopwatch. So I'm going to be using the alignment tool to place it at the center for faster alignment. So the alignment is on the right hand side, effects and presets. So I'm going to centralize it. Now, when you want to use an rotation that has to do with 3D, what you do is you see this icon here. This icon means 3D layer. As you can see, it shows 3D layer. So once you follow it down, the box in which the objects that you want to animate is, you click on it. When you click on it, the parameters for the rotation changes. So as you can see, before it only has just one. I'm going to click on it so you see it. This is just one, that's rotation. Once you, let me make sure it's only rotation that is showing. Okay. So you guys, this is how it looks before you click on it. So once you click on it, the rotation changes to X rotation, Y rotation, and Z rotation. Now, for you to look at what all three does, this is how it looks normally. So for X rotation, when you drag and maybe change the values of X, as you can see, it's flipping from the top and bottom. That's what the rotation of X does. If you click on the for Y, which is right now, Y, it flips it from left to right, as you can see, from left to right. That's what the Y does. Well, if you now click on the rotation for Z, Z now does, in this particular case, Z does what the original 2 rotation does. It just rotates it around normally. That's what Z rotation does. So now basically we want to look into animating a flipping coin. Now to animate a coin that flips, the best way to do this is basically you will be adding both, let me just first flip the coin while the coin is currently standing. So to flip the coin, you basically will be using the Y parameter. So the first thing is add a keyframe, the way we used to add keyframes. One keyframe, then go down along the line. Let's see here. So we add +1 here. So that means that's only 360. That's one. So with that, then you ease the animation. It's easy. It's something don't that is the song with then you copy the timeline into it. So let's see. Let's now put the animation. Okay. So we are playing it, so let's see what it does. As you can see, this is it flipping. Basically, you already have a flipping coin animation. This is a very simple flipping coin. When you want to do, when you see people do coin flips, you understand it's not that difficult. It's just a simple 3D rotation, which causes it to look like as if it's flipping. So this is that on that. So basically, let's take it just a little bit further. Let's add position parameters to this flip, to a flipping animation. So to get the coin looking even better. So let's cancel these parameters and let's, for now, what we'll be doing is we'll be doing an animation in which the coin comes from the bottom and flips while going back to the bottom. So that's what we'll be doing. So to do this, we'll be working with the X parameters this time around. So you had a keyframe in the beginning. So sorry. So I had keyframes on all three. So I clicked on all three. I'm going to click on just a second. So for the X alone, so you had the keyframe for it. Then you go down the timeline. Then you add a new parameters for it. So I'll just be adding one to the, that means there's only full 360. That's one. So I would easy ease all the animation. So easy ease, when you select both, you click F9 on your system, it eases all your keyframes to make it even smoother. So once I'm done with that, I'll play it before adding position parameters to it. So you see what has been done. So as you can see, this is it. So the next thing to do is to add the position parameters. So starting from, we're going to be making sure the coin starts from the bottom. So very down. So you bring it down. Okay. So it's down. So you add a keyframe to it from the bottom. Then at the end of the animation, you also add, okay, let me make it so in the center of the animation, you add a keyframe for it going up. So for it to go, you work with the Y parameters. This is the X parameter. First one is always the X parameters. The second one is always the Y parameters. So you work with the Y parameters. So you bring it back up.
No, Machi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We have about, let's say, 5 to 8 minutes left. So can
No,
you
it
add?
will be done by then.
Okay.
It will be done by then. So this is it's coming up. Then at the end again, you bring it down. If you are bringing it down, you have to just copy, and Control C, then Control V and paste it at the end. Then you easy ease all the keyframes. So once you're done with that, all you have to do is just play it. So you get your flipping coin animation. As you can see, it's too fast. That's going to be the problem. So increase the time frame. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. Okay. This is where it's supposed to be. So then you would also bring the ending keyframes forward. There. Then at the middle, bring this as well into the center. Then do the same for all your rotation parameters. The same for all your rotation parameters to the end. So let's play it and see if it's now better with the distance being added. As you can see, the up and down motion is better, but the flip is too slow. So we should add more flips to the animation. So to the end of the animation, we'll be adding more flips. So I'm going to change this from 1 to 2. That's 2 circle rotation. That's 1 360 twice. So let me see the difference in it. Okay, 8. As you can see, it's now a bit better. Though the coin flip still feels a little bit slower, I could add a little bit more rotation to it, probably more flip to it. So what I would just do is to flip it is just this. I will just add more. Instead, I won't do full 360 again for the third time. So I'll just do like a 180 halfway in between, which is like 2.5 rotation circle. I'm trying to get the one going there. This needs to be perfect. So with this, I'm sure we are done with the animation. So let's play and let's see our final results. Okay, as you can see, this is a full flipping animation. So you can still, I can make it go higher here. I make it go higher here and play it. But with this, we are definitely done. We've looked at using creating animation with 3D with 2D parameters, a simple rotation animation in 2D. We looked at it. We looked at creating it with the anchor points at the center. We looked at it with creating the rotation with anchor points when it's not at the center. Then we also looked at using 3D versions of the rotation to create animations. Those 3D ones are the ones that don't make things flip, make objects flip. So if you want to make any animation that has to do with flipping of images, flipping of objects, That is what you do for trading. So I think with this, we've come to the end of what we're going to be talking about on quotation parameters for the week. So please, the ground is open for any questions. Are you doing?
Okay, all right. So let me first of all just say what the tax will be, as I just said. So we have that will be four tax, if I'm sorry, that will be three tax. So there's the
Yes.
animation of the rolling coin, there's animation of the flipping coin, and there's also animation of the like rolling character head with scale, the one that he showed earlier. So that will be our submission for for next week. So I don't know if anybody has any question. A lot of us joined late, but does anybody have any question? We have like 2 minutes to take like some questions. Anybody?
Yes, I have a question.
All right.
Hello, good evening. Sorry I joined late. My question is, I noticed the coin looks flat. I was just asking, probably, I don't know if later on you have some attention on any of the coins that 2D. I had resident. I don't know if you
Okay.
understand
Okay.
what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Okay.
I've
Okay.
seen, I've seen the design you did previously. It had a different, it wasn't flat anyway. That's my major question. I don't know how that can actually be achieved. That's what.
Okay. That's a very nice question, Ken. So since we don't really have much time, so I'll try to brush it up very fast. This what we talked about here is basically making everybody understand the basic of After Effects, the beginning of After Effects. You need to understand each parameters to understand the underlying factors of an animation. What we are teaching here is what we are currently looking at is basically so you when you see an animation, you know that this is what they did to achieve it. So you understand? When the one you saw is basically an advanced version of it, which I actually created the illustration to be in 3D already. You understand? It started from the illustration itself. I created the illustration there to be 3D already. Then I took it further to another level. You understand? But without you knowing the beginning that, okay, this is what caused me to even flip it, you will not be able to understand that this was how I flipped it. So we are basically looking at the beginning. You must be able to understand the beginning before you can actually go even further. That's why this is flat. It's based on the illustration and the concept of it, trying to make it as simple as possible so we know how to do the beginning sets of things in After Effects. I hope it answered your question.
Yes.
All right. Thank you everyone for joining. I want to make a few announcements and our time is over. So I'll send like a quick Google Meet link. Let's just join and just to address some things and then yeah, but thank you very much for joining. Our meeting is going to end like very soon. So yeah, we can drop off and I'll send a Google Meet link to the group chat. Tops 5 minutes just to address some things and then yeah, we can have a wonderful day. Thank you so much, Matthew. Thank you everyone for joining. Let's have a wonderful day and we'll quickly converge. Like I'll send the link now. Thank you very much. Bye. Bye, but no bye.